Hello and welcome to Bourbon Forage Fishing. I'm your host Ryan. In honor of what we're talking about today, allocated Sazerac products, I'm going to be drinking the 2023 Thomas H. Handy, and this is a delicious bottle, by the way, so I really like this one a lot. I really like the 2022, but I think the 2023 edges it out for me of the ones I've tried. So today, in the spirit of Thomas H. Handy and Sazerac and Buffalo Trace products and allocated bottles of bourbon, we're going to be talking about sort of what's going on in the distribution side of Buffalo Trace products, Sazerac's products in Oregon and Washington. As you probably know, about when was this? This was late, what was it, 2022? Late 2022, the end of the year, it was announced that Sazerac, owner of Buffalo Trace, was going to be dumping RNDC as their main distributor. Lawsuits were filed. Basically, they had a whole plethora of claims that RNDC was hoarding bottles in the warehouse, bad distribution, corruption, wink, wink, nudge, nudge stuff with getting these bottles out. And basically, Buffalo Trace was very dissatisfied with RNDC and dropped them. And they basically ended up, I don't remember how many states, but 30-something states ended up getting smaller distributors to take up the slack for RNDC. And who got the contract in Oregon and Washington, I believe, is Columbia. I know certainly Washington. I believe it's Oregon and Washington. And this was at the very tail end of 2022. So what happened when Columbia took over, RNDC did dump a lot of very old, very highly allocated stuff onto liquor stores. I know a lot of their employees got it. I know for a fact certain liquor stores got Pappy Van Winkle 15s and Warehouse C Taylors and very sought after BTAC line stuff. Some of it very old. I know a lot of the employees bought that stuff upon selling, delivery. So I do know for a fact RNDC had some wink, wink, nudge, nudge stuff going on. The specific of which I don't know all of which, but I can definitely see why Buffalo Trace filed lawsuit and why they were not happy with RNDC. So when Columbia took over for RNDC here in Washington State, and I assume Oregon, it was amazing, right? We had I would say a 3 to 4-fold increase in allocated products everywhere. There was way more stuff. That goes all the way from down to Blanton's, Elmer T. Lee's, Weller's. Although I will say the Weller's, there was less Weller by maybe 20 or 30%, but all the others are Stag, Taylor's, the BTAC stuff. I would say 3 to 4-fold increase in the rate of which these things showed up and the volume. It was incredible. 2023 was just an absolute amazing haven for folks who liked really good whiskey, really good bourbon, Buffalo Trace allocated products. It was amazing up here in Washington State, just incredible, and remained so until about the end of let's see, this would be 2023, right? Yeah, 2023. Things got a little quiet at the end. Then we had a huge unloading of BTAC. The BTAC lines were bigger than they'd ever been under RNDC. It looked like there's a lot more out as far as I could see. Bars, restaurants, liquor stores, big and small. The stuff was just out and about. So fast forward to January 1st, 2024, and lo and behold, something happens. Columbia Distribution Company creates a new system of distribution for all their Sazerac allocated products. And this begins a massive dry spell of Buffalo Trace products, allocated especially. Now I think the regular stuff, your Buffalo Trace and whatever, I think that stuff's probably pretty streamlined. It's Eagle Rare. You see about the same amount of it everywhere. But all of your allocated products, suddenly they're gone, right? They're gone. And that 3 to 4-fold increase that we saw before they had put in a system in place, as far as I can tell, was what they were actually getting and actually distributing to the public. This goes restaurants, bars, liquor stores. With the implementation of this new system, the allocation supply has just dried up magically. We are seeing less than we did under RNDC, which I can tell you RNDC was hiding stuff in their warehouse. I can tell you that for a fact. You have at least accusations of delivery corruption with delivery drivers, favors between RNDC employees and sellers, things of this nature. Since the implementation of the new system that Columbia Distributions has created, there is less product on the market. Less. I would say 30 to 50% less than when RNDC had it. And I would say a 5 to 6-fold decrease in product that they had when they were distributing it in a free market open fashion before they had a system in place. Okay, folks? So if you're in Washington or Oregon, you had a full year of Columbia distributing stuff in a freer market situation, and it was everywhere, and it was amazing, and everybody loved it. Now we have a new system in place, and it is drier than it ever was under RDNC. So there is something shady going on here. I don't like it. I don't think you can chalk this up to anything particularly to do with the distillery and Buffalo Trace, because obviously they're trying to get their stuff out there. If you look at the lawsuit, that was one of their big complaints with RNDC, was that Buffalo Trace products were not out there for the public to consume, and they were very upset about it. God damn, this handy's good. Wow, that was so good. I lost my train of thought. So basically, we got a problem here. That's the title of this video, or the moral of this story is we got a problem. Columbia Distribution is doing something wrong, and they did something right, really right for a solid year, and now it's very, very wrong. So I'm curious, viewing audience, if you're in Washington, Oregon, have you noticed this? And I'm also curious if any other folks in other states have noticed any of the distribution companies that took over for RNDC. Did you see increases in allocated products out to the public? And have you seen subsequent decreases since? Or increases? I'm very curious. I want to know this. Obviously, I don't like that there aren't any allocated products on the market anymore. That doesn't make me happy. I don't think it makes any bourbon drinkers that I know particularly happy. So Columbia Distribution really needs to get their shit together. Quite frankly, you need to just drop the system you have in place and just go back to whatever you're doing. If you're just releasing it nimbly-pimbly, was what it seemed like, you're getting it and dumping it, releasing it, you need to do that, because that's what's best for the consumer, by far. Whatever you're trying to sneaky pull, or whatever you're trying to do now, I don't know what the logic here is, but it's not working. The stuff's not coming out to the public. And ultimately, Columbia Distribution must know this. So please stop doing this. We want these awesome bourbons. We want to be able to drink these things. We want to be able to even see these things, But it'd be nice to have an opportunity to buy an allocated bottle. I've gone, I think, 5 or 6 weeks without buying an allocated bottle from Buffalo Trace, and this is insane for me. I've never gone anywhere near this length of time. So, whew, that was a rant. Thank you. Again, if you're an audience member, leave your comments down below. I'm really curious what's going on with your state. And anybody in Washington, Oregon, let me know about what you've noticed. If anybody works for Columbia, I'd love to hear from you. Please comment down below. Thank you and take care. Bourbon Forage Fishing, the best damn bourbon forage fishing channel on YouTube. Thank you for watching and take care.